And there we go. Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Jenny.
How's the weather there? We have this hurricane coming. Are you?
A lot of rain, yes.
Wow, we're in Texas and we have a lot of rain.
How about that?
Well, we're going to talk about something today that has to do kind of with clear skies and seeing clearly.
Yes.
And I think you had wanted to talk about the difference between being tumor-free and cancer-free.
Yes.
So, the issue with that is, we're doing the test to see if we're tumor-free. We're doing the scans. So we obviously want to know, right? If the doctor's ordering the test, the doctor wants to know if you're cancer-free. And these scans will show, give us a determination, and we trust that determination. And I think what we want to discuss today is the tool that we're using that's determining us to be tumor-free, and when we say tumor-free, we in our heart we go, oh, we're cancer-free,
right.
We're good. We don't have to take extra good care of ourselves. We don't have to do the things that we know that are cancer preventative, because it's so easy to fall off the wagon and just get back into the standard American life.
Right. And I always heard things about the chemo killed the daughter cells, but not the stem cells. But I never quite knew what that meant until now.
Right. So I think
thought it was important for everyone to understand.
Right. So I think what we want to talk about is the tool we're using good enough for us to bet our life on it, right?
Right.
Right. So basically, we have, a CAT scan or a PET scan or an MRI is kind of our basic tool that we use for scanning. And what we have to understand is they're coarse. They're not super sensitive. They're not checking any physiological markers that are in your blood. They're not testing for any autoantibodies. It's just a picture. And we all have lots of lumps and bumps in our body, little cysts and things that come up and that go and that, may not even be a problem, and the body takes care of them. But the thing when it comes with cancer is usually these tumors don't show up till they're about 0.5 centimeter. And there are some new high definition CT scans around the country that can find it a little bit smaller than that. But not everyone has access to that. And then the question again is, how do you even get one of these tests?
Right.
Concern that your mother just died or your sister just died, or, someone has cancer and you're not, you just have this feeling that you want to get checked out. The insurance usually won't even pay for, or the doctor won't even order one of these scans unless you have, a symptom or a reason, or you feel something to even order one of these scans. And so I think what we want to talk about is how can we improve upon our screening methods so we don't find ourselves in one of these situations. What are your thoughts?
I just never realized that the tumor shed things into the blood and that there was stem cells circulating in the blood. So even if they got the tumor, there's still cells in the blood that are specifically metastatic type cells.
Right.
So find a host somewhere else in the body.
Sure.
And that's not really recognizable when they test you after and tell you that you're cancer-free then.
Right. So I have one example that I usually use for this. Let's say someone has colon cancer. It's a very common type of cancer. And they have a tumor and they go in and they cut out the section of the colon on each side of the tumor. And so they have clean surgical margins. They actually test the tissue on each side before they put the colon back together. And so they'll tell you have clean surgical margins, and then they'll go and they'll do a scan, and the scan will show that you are tumor-free, right? So everyone celebrates, and I hear people on the radio, oh, my scan is clear, I'm tumor-free, and which is fabulous. It's so good to be tumor-free, but we also we don't want to just stick our head in the sand, because I've seen it time and time and time and time again to where, so let's say Bill is on the golf team or on your bunco group or whatever it is, and you go and you're like, where's Bill? Where's Sally? And they're like, oh, didn't you hear? So-and-so's cancer is back. And it's exactly what you just said. It's not that it's back. It's that it was really never gone. The the chemotherapy is really really does a pretty decent job at killing the tumor. And that's one thing I never understood, that there are tumor cells and then there are stem cells. And the stem cells are the ones that hold the DNA, and they can go out and start reproducing. And those are the things that you really want to get rid of. And stem cells don't show up on a scan. Right. So your scan may be great, but the odds are if you've had a tumor over 2 millimeters, you've got some of these stem cells in your blood. So I would love to do a show. Maybe next week we'll talk about some of the things that can kill those stem cells. We have hundreds of things that have been proven in studies to kill cancer stem cells, which is so cool because it doesn't require chemotherapy. These things are not prescriptions. Some of them are supplements. Some you can get, organic different powders to add to your smoothie. There's so many things that kill cancer stem cells, and they've been proven it in multiple peer-reviewed studies. But that's not part of our insurance, protocol for treating cancer.
Right.
When we think you're tumor-free, oh, you're good, we'll check you every 6 months. And I prefer for people to be really proactive, do the things that they can do just to make their body taste bad, to kill those stem cells that are not visible. They're not showing up on a test. In fact, the only test I know that will tell you if you have circulating stem cells is from Research Genetic Cancer Center.
Right. Reading on your course, and I thought it was fascinating.
Right. I have an interview with Ray Hammond, who is the head of RGCC for Canada and North America. And actually, I'll be with them in 2 weeks. They're having their U.S. conference here. Wow. So that would be a nice time to talk about their tests. I can come back and report some of the new things they're doing and how they're having people keep their eye on the target and keep them cancer-free.
What would the timing be? So say you've had surgery and somebody said you have clean margins now. Would it be a good idea to have that test by RGCC then?
If you've just had surgery, you can go ahead and do the test. If you've had chemotherapy, we'd like you to wait for about 3 months and let things settle down. Because chemotherapy just messes up, a lot of, your liver, everything. A lot of the new immunotherapies are more targeted, but they're causing a lot of really nasty symptoms. So the deal is, if you feel bad and you get one of the tests in my book and it says that you've got a cancer issue, some autoantibodies or something, or your CEA is high, which is your carcinoembryonic antigen, if that's high, if your IV gene is high, but your scan is clear, still plug into some of these natural things that you can do. And I promise you, it works. It works. We have it in studies. It works. Once again, I always tell people, and if you don't have any money, start eating half of your food living, living raw foods, find a way to sweat every day for 30 minutes, get good sleep. Diet is huge, and there's so much in nature that kills these cells, but we're all eating lettuce and tomato and romaine lettuce and tomato and cucumbers and maybe an apple or a banana. And so we're really missing out on huge plethora.
The variety, right.
That are, anti-cancerous.
Right.
Right. So what else did you learn in that interview?
I just thought it was so interesting that there was actually part of the tumor that will send out cells to try and implant somewhere else in the body. I really didn't know that.
Right. Well, the reason that is because cancer is a self-survival mechanism. It's your body wants to live. Your body grew those cells because they got to where the cell membrane got rigid. They couldn't get the oxygen in, so the cells start fermenting sugar. These cells are just trying to survive, and they also want to heal. But they will send out an SOS, and they'll say, hey, bring more cells over here to help us survive. Okay. We're all meant to live long and to have abundant life. But if we get these cells that are chugging along and they're not getting good, their mitochondria, their energy production centers become faulty, because I believe that is actually a survival mechanism. We've got to clean up our terrain and support those cells, and then things can heal. And
the metastatic process is what really is the problem with cancer. So if we can target these stem cells and get rid of them,
Right. It's so unfortunate because 90% of cancer deaths or 90% of people who get a metastatic problem end up succumbing to the disease at some point. And that's why you and I are talking about this cancer-free, tumor-free. Let's make sure that we're working to be cancer-free, not just tumor-free, because those little tiny stem cells are not going to show up on a scan. Most doctors do not even know how to test for them. And it's like the foxes in the hen house. But we know what to do. We know what to do. It's so there's so many things you can do to repair and rebuild your body and get everything back online. It's so easy. I get excited. Oh, everything looks good on your lab work. But I'm like, what lab work did you really do?
Right.
So there's just a little bit more to the story. And it's the metastatic cancer that really hurts so many people.
Right. And I think people do have surgery, and whether or not they've had chemo, they're kind of sent away and they don't know what to do next.
Well, yeah, if your doctor says you're fine, I'll see you in 6 months or I'll see you in a year, of course you're going to say, great, thank you. And you just, you make an appointment. So I know there's tons of resources at BeatCancer.Org. Again, y'all have someone that will talk to you for free and give you some great information. You'll have lots of cancer coaches who've been through a nutritional program to help people. So what I want to say is we grew cancer in our body. We can ungrow it. We can absolutely heal. Healing is encoded in your DNA. We just don't know that we need to work harder at it.
Okay.
Right. So,
I'm just a thought I had. Do they know any correlation of stem cells versus what stage you were, or is there correlation at all?
It depends on how vascular the tumor is and how much it's shedding. And usually, as cancer progresses, your stem cell count will go up. But an interesting thing, because the only lab that can identify circulating stem cells in the blood is Research Genetic Cancer Center, and they've been doing it since 2004. But there's an interesting phenomenon that happens in late-stage cancer. The immune system, we know the immune system is already suppressed with cancer. Not so much if you get the flu, because people will say, I never get sick, but I've got cancer. It's just that the cancer cells are shielded from the immune system. That's a whole nother discussion with things called nagalase and this thick protein coating that gets around those cells, because remember, they're trying to survive. So they're building up their fortress. So golly, I forgot where I was going with that. So tell me your question again and I'll get back on track. I go off on these tangents.
Correlation between the stage of the cancer and the stem cells, or what amount, or?
So what happens is an end-stage cancer sometimes. So let's say this is a cancer cell, and a little, some sort of an immune cell, a lymphocyte or monocyte is supposed to come over and gobble up and eat at that cancer cell. We know that's not happening in cancer, but in late stage cancer, the immune cell will come over, attach, and the two will fuse into one mutant cell. Now all of a sudden, and this is incredible. You can Google it or Yahoo it or however you want to do. Immune cells or macrophages merging with cancer stem cells. And we now have captured this under the microscope. And so when that happens, then those cells are harder to detect. And that's usually in later stage cancer. Sometime I had a friend that passed a pancreatic cancer, and her test was negative, but it was because she was already, pancreatic cancer, 80% is found at late stage. And so she was already in that where the immune system was actually helping the cancer to grow. And it's just a wacky system that goes terribly, terribly wrong. But anyway, Research Genetic Cancer Center has come up with a new component to their test where they can now find those new markers on these.
That's so exciting.
And that's only been in the last 3 months. So because they had about a 12% false negative. Someone would be stage 4 and they would not have any stem cells, because you see that stem cell level rise. So you go from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3.
Okay.
You see more and more of those in the bloodstream. And conversely, you can watch them go down as you do things as I did. Mine was 14.2 and I got it down to 2.9 in 6 months.
Wow.
Some of the things we're going to talk about next week.
Okay. So that gives people a lot of hope.
Absolutely, absolutely. The problem is doing nothing or doing the same thing you did that got you in the problem in the first place.
Mhm.
So, and I always tell people, just because it's in the grocery store doesn't mean it's food, and because we as Americans, I tend to trust that someone else is doing their homework. That when I walk in some of these big natural food stores and they've got stuff in there, surely it's good for me. Well, we have to take personal responsibility. Um,
That's right,
I
because they're personally trying to profit.
Right. I mean,
You
not
have to
even
personally be your own advocate.
yeah, even if you haven't had cancer, it's so important to do that. Even if you have not had cancer, you don't want to get it, and you don't need to get it. Once again, it's a preventable lifestyle-driven disease, and absolutely, it can be. What 5% are genetic, and so that's 5% of the people that are going to have potentially that problem. The
Right.
rest of us, including me, I ate myself and lotioned and potioned myself into a cancer diagnosis, and hormones and everything else that were coming in through my beef and my chicken and things my doctor was giving me, and it just turned my system upside down. So now every day, and that's what everyone should do every day, is be very diligent about what you put in your mouth and what you put on your body.
Right. And the less processed, the less you have to worry. If you're starting with pure ingredients and making it yourself, like your grandmother did.
Yes, absolutely. I was actually listening to let me think, what is his name? Chris at work with Square One, and he orders some organic cranberry powder that he puts in his smoothie and some almond powder. So I thought, well, dang, that's so much easier. So because I love to eat cranberries during, when they're in season and in the winter, but so I've been adding a scoop of those to my smoothie. There's so many things you can do to just
They're
boost.
high in vitamin C.
Sure, and just boost up the nutritional value of even just making a green smoothie. You can really pump that thing up, and a little bit of fasting, intermittent fasting where you don't eat breakfast and you wait and have, start your day with a big green smoothie or a nice green juice with no fruit. Enzymes, or so many things you can do to help eat up those stem cells and cancer cells that are lurking around and really asking you to help clean them up. If not, they're going to keep trying to survive.
Right. And I think with the fall season coming, it's so nice to embrace what's in season is so good for your body. So the cranberries, like you were saying, you can find organic cranberries and cook them down with a little orange and make a lemon and make a little relish. The orange pumpkin, I mean, these colors are so good for us. The squash.
Sure.
Just embrace what's in season and get a good organic vegetable, look up a new recipe, and do something exciting.
Right. It's so important. And when it comes down to it, it is up to us.
It is up to us. It is a choice.
So,
We pay for convenience, but you can't fool Mother Nature.
yes, we do. If people look at my purse, I have all kind of little green powders, and I buy these little containers off Amazon, and I put my green powder in it when I'm going out of town, and I've got my collagen and another little container. I add that to my hot tea, and
that's wonderful.
They look at me, they go, what are all those little containers in your purse? But if you take a little extra time, buy things in bulk, put them on, just plan ahead. You can travel. Like I'm getting ready to go for 4 days. I'll be in Dallas, everyone, at the Plano Convention Center at the Home and Health Show, sponsored by Marty Whittakin and the Dirt Doctor this Saturday. And I'm not even sure what Saturday's date is. Let's see. Today's the 12th, the 15th. I will be in Plano, Texas. So if you're in the area, stop by. I'd love to meet you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So log on to BeatCancer.Org, or please go to cancerfreebook.com and continue pre-ordering my book. I'm already got a #1 new release and a bestseller on Amazon. So I'm just so thankful. I'm getting wonderful emails from all of you. Just thanking me for the information, and that's why we do this, right? For you.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, yeah, so until next week, I think we'll come back and we'll talk about some things that can kill cancer stem cells that you can do.
That's a wonderful topic.
Right.
So, for everybody.
Right, so we don't get those tumors and we don't have to worry about those course scans missing something, because we know we're taking care of our inner terrain.
Right.
Sounds great. Okay, well, until next week, Debbie, I will we'll log in and we'll see you then. Same time, same place.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks. God bless everyone. Have a great, make it a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.